Jim was so much like all of you. In many ways, he was fortunate, like you, to be in a school that's nurturing and trying to inspire you by books and art displays and just trying to help you think about what you want to do with your life. And Jim kind of was curious. He was a voracious reader. He loved to read, loved to hear people's stories. He was really curious. He liked to know about different cultures, what made a person tick. That was kind of why he was such a great friend. I mean, he had so many friends because he really listened. He really cared about what was going on inside of them. And he really valued his education and his freedom. He valued his freedom as an American. But, I don't know if he realized that all at the moment. He grew up in a tiny town in Wolfboro on beautiful Lake Winnipesaukee. Just beautiful, just like it is this morning around here. It was just a beautiful place to live. And loved fun. I mean, he was big on fun. He loved to do everything. And he wasn't particularly talented at sports, but he still did them all. I mean, he loved rugby and soccer and basketball and swam and skied and did it all. Not particularly talented, but just was fun. He just enjoyed it. He wasn't a musician. He wasn't particularly good at music, certainly not of singing, but he learned to do rap, and he got into drumming and just had a lot of fun with it. He majored in history and Spanish at Marquette University. Wanted to go far away because he was the oldest of our 5 kids. So can you imagine a family with 5? He was the oldest, 15 years older than my youngest. So it was a noisy household. And Jim wanted to get away. So he chose to go away to school in the Midwest. He went out to Marquette University as far away as he could in many ways. But he also knew it had a real strong liberal arts program, and that's what he wanted. He loved literature, loved history, all that stuff. And his grandma was from Ecuador, so he was very interested in becoming fluent in Spanish. So that's what he majored in. But when he was done, he really didn't know what to do. He wasn't sure, what can I do with a history major and a Spanish minor, and kind of was looking around. And I don't think he realized, but at Marquette was kind of a lot like this school in the sense of really trying to inspire, help you to really think about life a bit. And the motto at Marquette was, be the difference. And be the difference. I don't think he really thought about it much when he was there as a student, but the school encouraged him to do things like tutor in the inner city, like help the kids who are poor, who live around the corner, like Anya is encouraging you to do, to open your eyes to the fact that not everyone is as privileged to go to a school like this and, be fed every day and have parents and teachers who care. And I really think it was at Marquette that Jim started to have his eyes open to some of that by tutoring in the really poor inner city in Milwaukee. He started to realize a lot of kids go to school without breakfast and often without a coat or boots that they need. And he just really began to see a different side of our country, really. And I really think in many ways that inspired him to go and to teach for America when he was done at Marquette. He chose to go to Phoenix, to an inner city school where it was a Spanish-speaking area. And it was kind of funny because the kids didn't know he understood Spanish and spoke it well. So they would speak behind his back. They really challenged him. Here's this gringo kid coming into this inner city school, And, they were Native American, Hispanic, Black. They were all different ethnicities. but the predominant language was Spanish. So they would talk behind his back, and they had a Mr. Foley hate club. I mean, they had all kinds of things going on. But it was later that they found out that he really understood everything they were saying, and he really ended up really mentoring a lot of these kids. Would you believe he even coached basketball? Wasn't much of a basketball player, but he coached basketball and really got very close to these students. But eventually he was drawn to writing and eventually to be a journalist. As he decided he really wanted to tell stories about real people. You know, he really wanted to tell the world about people who don't have a voice, if you will, in the world. So, and I could go on and on about Jim, but some of you, I think, have seen the movie, Jim, the James Foley Story. If any of you are interested, watch it with some friends or adults. It can be sad, but it also kind of brings out important issues to ponder. And that's what brings me to the 200 women, really. I really thank Babette and the community for hosting that display, and I applaud you kids who bothered to go over there and check it out. Because none of us women we're not extraordinary, we're just ordinary people, just like each of you. But all of us have the opportunity with our life to make a difference, to care about the world. And that's why I think the questions that they posed, all of us 200 women, are important for you and me to think about. The first question is, what really matters to you? What's important to you? You know, that's important to think about. What brings you happiness? What really brings you joy? What really speaks to you? And what do you regard as the lowest depth of misery? What is the opposite, you know? And what would you do if you could to change the world? What would you do? What would you do with your gifts? All of you have gifts, different ones. You know, some are going to be real athletes, you know, like, gee, that amazing man who's coming to talk here. But some are not. But some have other awesome gifts. All of you have gifts. So I would encourage you to ponder those questions. You know, think about it yourself. And if you feel like it, go to their gallery and listen to what women from all over the world answered. You know, everybody's different. Everyone has different answers. And I think that's what's important for you as young people. Jim would want you to know that life is a gift. It's just a gift. You have one life. What are you going to do with it? You know, are you going to be a force for good? Are you going to bring light into this world of ours? Are you going to be a spark that really makes someone feel loved? You know, are you going to make a difference? Yeah, you can. And that's why the reading from 2 Timothy, you have that power. You have that gift to make a difference for someone else. All of us do. Every bit of our life, we have that choice. And, you know, don't be afraid to ponder different things. Don't be afraid to think about the spiritual life, to read scripture, to read Buddha, to read the philosophers. Read about what wise people have thought about. And because a lot of those different books and philosophers, they're people who really thought about life. What do I do with my life? You know, and a lot of those ancient traditions and spiritual readings can feed us and can help us to know that we have a strength beyond ourselves, that we're not weak, that we can channel the strength of God, of faith, in ways that can make us very powerful, very powerful. And why bother? Because the world needs you. This world is counting on you. You're the next generation. You're our hope for tomorrow. You really are. This dark world needs the light of your goodness and your truth. And I just want you to think a moment before I finish that every moment of the day we make choices, right? We can choose to brush our teeth or not, right? We can choose to make our bed or not. We can choose to study hard or not. We can choose to tell the truth or not. We can be grateful, really grateful for all that we have in our life. Or we can just take it for granted, right? And we can be thoughtful. Like we can thank, our teachers who really care to listen to us and challenge us, even the ones that are tough on us and really want us to work hard. We can be grateful for that. We can be grateful to our parents and write them a note or say thanks, that kind of stuff, or not, So you have those choices all the time. And I just want you to know how important you are to our world. And you can make this world a better place. So I challenge you. I challenge you to be courageous. Not just physically courageous, but to have the courage to do the hard thing, the right thing, to have the courage to tell the truth, to be kind when someone else is making fun of someone or making someone feel unwelcome, to have the courage to reach out to that person and make them feel important. That's not always easy to do, especially when a person has hurt your feelings or really been cruel to you, right? Hatred is easy. It's easy to be greedy. It's easy to be self-centered. It really is. That's our default as humans, It takes an extra special spirit and courage to be kind and to care. So I would just leave you with that. I'd like you to challenge you to be young men and women of courage, of moral courage, and recognize that everything you do and say today and for the rest of your life will make a difference. And I just pray that you'll make the choice to be a person who makes a difference for good in our world, because we need you. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much.